Do short theme song intro. Hello, welcome to Left of the Box. Bonjour, bienvenue. I'm Sandy. Spring is in the air. You feel it in the wind, the warm sunshine, the chirping birds, and the political parties sniping at one another and demanding attention as they reveal their new and improved platforms. No one wants an election now, but all signs are pointing to one happening this year. So with election season just around the corner, it's important to know where the political parties are with policy issues. In this video, I'm going to criticize the Conservatives, the Liberals, and the NDP. Before I take a chunk out of each of them, please vote for me to keep this channel going by hitting that like and subscribe button. I put a lot of work into making these videos. Please help me out by giving me a channel campaign donation by becoming a Patreon. There is no cap, but there also aren't tax receipts. And I'm not a campaign, and it's not a donation. I'm going to start my criticism with the Conservatives, who held their convention recently. At political conventions, delegates vote on policies they want the party to go forward with. This is going to be a rough election cycle. Erin O'Toole, the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada and Indigenous Peoples genocide denier, I made a video about his remarks a little while back, go check it out please, is actually in favor of acknowledging climate change as a problem and that there is a need to find solutions. Only took him till 2021 by closely studying the science, realizing climate disasters are increasing, understanding that if we don't act now, the world won't be livable for the next generations. Yeah, just kidding. He's worried about losing the election. He knows if he loses this next election, he's out of a job, and polling suggests more people are in favor of climate actions. Here's what he said in his speech at the convention.
We've now fought and lost 2 elections against a carbon tax because voters did not think we were serious about addressing climate change. And I will not allow 338 candidates to defend against the lie from the Liberals that we are a party of climate change deniers. We will have a plan to address climate change. It will be comprehensive and it will be serious.
This is the reaction from the crowd. Unfortunately for him, the people in favor of climate action don't generally identify as conservatives. After his speech, voting began. From CBC. Conservative delegates at the party's policy convention have voted to reject adding green-friendly statements to the policy book, including a line that would have stated the party believes climate change is real and is willing to act. The please forgive me with this pronunciation. The Ponov-Jacques-Cartier riding in Quebec, which proposed the policy change, also asked delegates to recognize that Canadian businesses classified as highly polluting need to take more responsibility and reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. The policy proposal also included a call to support innovation in green technologies so that Canada can become a world-class leader in emerging industry. Delegates issued a rebuke of climate-minded conservatives and rejected the policy shift by a margin of 54% to 46%. In fact, it was one of only 4 policy proposals or modifications on a list of 50 pitched by the electoral riding associations, EDAs, that were voted down by the delegates. I guess the delegates couldn't see the light because their heads were stuck too deep into the tar sands. But can anyone be that surprised by how they voted? There used to be a time when conservative leaders were in front of the mob, but they let it slip. Someone would say something outrageous and the leaders would nod in agreement. Someone would spout a conspiracy theory and the leaders wouldn't correct them. Soon they realized they would lose their base if they didn't go along with the mob, and instead of challenging the beliefs, they encouraged them, even when they knew it would have detrimental effects on this world. Now O'Toole doesn't lead the mob, the mob leads the party, which means a leader must move further right of the mob to get in front of it. If you saw what happened in the States with Trump and thought, that can never happen here, it's already happening. Besides, what's more important, keeping your political power or saving the planet? If you had to think about that answer, you're probably not one of the smart people watching this video. Since O'Toole is no longer in front of the mob, when he's made to step down, there will be a race for the leadership, and make no mistake about it, it will be a race to the bottom right. The Liberals were quick to point out how ridiculous it was that the Conservatives were even debating the idea of climate change as being real. And my Twitter peeps were quick to point out the Liberals' hypocrisy. Liberal MP Catherine McKenna sent out this tweet: "We're in a climate crisis and the Conservative Party is debating whether climate change is real. Let that sink in." Tory Rodney tweeted out, "The Conservative Party's climate change denialism is effectively the same as the Liberal Party's climate change delays. Liberals virtue signal in all the right ways on climate change, but you do not act in ways that are consistent with belief in climate science." Dylan replied, "Your party bought a pipeline and continues to subsidize the fossil fuel industry, my God." The Liberals have had plenty of time to prove they take the issue of climate change seriously, but they haven't been able to find their way out of the deep pockets of the oil industry. The Conservatives and the Liberals vote together in favor of serving the wants of corporations and the wealthy few over the needs of the people. I could take this time to criticize Justin Trudeau, the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada and blackface enthusiast, and his Liberal Party policies, but really, I'd be wasting my time because they never keep their promises. Go to the Parliament of Canada House of Commons website, link in the description box below. It shows you how the parties and individuals vote on bills. You'll find a major disconnect from what the Liberals say and how they vote. The only reason they got a majority 2 elections ago was because they promised electoral reform and to get rid of the first-past-the-post system. As soon as they won, they made it clear they weren't going to reform a system that allowed them to gain a majority with only 39% of the popular vote. The Liberals voted with the Conservatives to prevent tax increases on the very rich and corporations that benefited from the pandemic. They have been promising universal pharmacare for decades, yet when the opportunity came up for them to vote in favor of it with the NDP just a few weeks ago, they voted no. People will die because of this. I'm going to make a video about pharmacare and Bill C7, the medical assistance in dying. It will be an emotionally challenging video for me to make, but the message needs to get out there. The Liberals have also been promising to help with federal student loan debts, yet the NDP had to push like crazy just to put a freeze on interest accumulation of these debts for part of this ongoing pandemic. Speaking of student loans, Jagmeet Singh, leader of the New Democrat Party and... wait. Is he a leader of a political party who hasn't done something incredibly offensive? That's weird. Nice change. Anyway, he has announced they will cancel up to $20,000 per Canadian in student loan debts. Sounds pretty good. Let's read into this more. From Global News. The NDP on Saturday said it will push the Liberal government to cancel up to $20,000 in federal student loan debt per Canadian as part of its plan to help young people struggling financially amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The plan also includes giving new graduates a 5-year head start without having to repay any federal student loans. 5-year head start? What? Under the new plan, the current repayment assistance plan, which allows for payments to be deferred and even reduced in some cases, would be replaced with an income contingent debt forgiveness program? Wait, income contingent? After the 5-year Head Start period, graduates with an annual household income of $60,000 or less would be eligible for $20,000 debt reduction. The reduction amount would be less for households earning between $60,000 and $100,000 based on a linear scale before phasing out for household. Oh, come on. Stop it, stop it, stop it with these stupid, watered-down, means-tested policies. NDP should stand for Never Do Politics because you suck at the political game. If we wanted means testing and policies that promise to make a difference years from now, we can vote Liberal. Cancel all student debt and make schooling for all stages of life free. I went to college, but like a lot of people in my situation, I had already been suffering from mental health issues, depression, suicidal ideation. And in your early 20s, when you're still developing and your brain is still growing, it got so much worse. And I crashed. After college, I struggled to find a job. I tried so many crazy jobs just to get my feet under me. And nothing worked. And eventually I wound up in a shelter. All during that time, the collection agencies were hounding me, calling me, harassing me, threatening me, all for a college program that in the end didn't even lead to a job. The constant harassment, I felt trapped. I felt like it wouldn't matter even if I got a job, I would never be able to get out of my situation because all of the money would just eventually go towards the debt anyway. This took me to some really dark places at times. With the help of others, eventually I was able to take care of that debt. Now, as someone who has paid to go to college and had to pay the debt collection agencies, this is what I want the people, the generations after me to know. I don't want you to go through that as well. I don't want you to go through that constant harassment, the constant fear, the constant stress. I want it so that when you're done college, you can start a life, get a house, start a family, start a career. We as a society benefit when everyone can live to their full potential. And in order to do that, they need to be able to go to college. How many people are we losing out on their gifts because they couldn't afford to go? Doctors, teachers, scientists, writers, artists. All of them never being able to meet their full potential because they couldn't go to school. My main criticism of the NDP is that they never go far enough. They're not going to excite their base with incrementalism or sway people from voting Liberal when all they are doing is offering another flavor of liberal centralism. I will continue to support and vote for the NDP because what they are offering is far better than the other parties. And some of their promises are bold and fantastic, but other promises fall short of being the change people need. They must start being the party the people want. We are in a mess with housing, the vaccine rollout, long-term care home crisis, the minimum wage that doesn't afford the basic costs of living. All of this and more because of the Conservatives and Liberal parties. They had their chance to improve our lives, but instead there has been a steady decline over the past few decades, regardless of which one of these two parties were in power. We need hope for a better future, and the NDP is it. And it's more than wanting a better quality of life. For some of us, our lives are on the line. People have been and will continue to die because of the greed of our capitalist system the Liberals and Conservatives serve. Polling shows most people, regardless of party, agree on a lot of progressive issues. We need a major change in how we operate as a society if we hope of having a better future. The NDP is the only party that even comes close. No more capitalism, no more of a system that allows a few people to become billionaires and hoard wealth while millions of people starve on the streets. We need a more just and socialist society for everyone to have a good quality of life. The way I view these three parties is as follows. The NDP want to move forward, the Liberals want to stay in place, and the Conservatives want to move backwards. The thing is, the world is moving faster than us, and the need and awareness for change is growing more each day. Relative to this, the NDP is staying in place, the Liberals are moving backwards, and the Conservatives have gone to an alternate reality. A better future is possible, but it's up to us, the people, to demand our politicians work for us. If you know a strong progressive person, encourage and support them to run for office at every level of government. Join your local riding associations and push for change from within the parties. I will be making more videos about political policies in the future. I get the feeling I will have plenty of material to work with the closer we get to an election. We deserve better. We can do better. Get informed. Get involved. In the comments section below, let me know what your better future would look like. Salut, à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. I'm Sandy, wishing your tomorrow is better than your today.